All right, so today on the team playbook, we got Blair Knowles. So with those unfamiliar, she is the CEO founder of Ridgeline Real Estate. So can you share a little bit about your whole journey here in the Vermont market and what makes your approach unique?
Yeah. I got into real estate in, oh, guys, like been 11 years. I don't remember that year is. My husband always can do the exact year that things happened. I'm like, how do you do
Yeah.
that? In 11 years, I started on another broker's team at another firm, and that was great. I say it's like going to college and taking on a new full-time job at the same time. You're like learning and you're trying to
Yeah.
to do the work. So that was wild. I did that for 2 years. Then I went independent at inside that franchise model and started my own team. And then 5 years ago, well, six now, I started my own independent brokerage. And we have about 25 agents and admin staff, and we did 150 million in volume this year and 319 transactions. And I am not in production personally anymore. It was a choice I made when I had my two little girls. I've got a 3-year old and a 1-year old. I wanted to not be in the car on nights and weekends. So I'm like a true managing broker, which has
Yeah.
given me a lot of time to work on bigger concept things like how are we implementing AI into real estate, which is where last year I founded sort of my second venture, which is called RAIN, Real Estate's AI network, where I'm teaching realtors how to integrate AI into real estate.
Yeah, and that's great. And I'm happy you brought that up too, because I was definitely gonna dive into that a little bit. Um,
Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
yeah, no, you're good. So it just in terms of the whole Vermont market, I know it's kind of unique because there's a lot of lifestyle out there is a little bit, it's different compared to, if you go further south. A lot of second homes, strong
Yeah.
sense of community. What would you say is the single biggest misconception people have about buying or selling in property in your area there?
That was pretty easy. During COVID, we had a ton of people come by in Vermont because it is remote. And so like all the jobs went remote and people could come here for the lifestyle and have the big figure jobs in the cities. One of the downsides of Vermont is we don't have a lot of economy. There's very few industries here, but there's lovely homes. But I think the biggest misconception is the winter times. So like
Yeah.
everybody bought during COVID, and then we saw 3, 4 years later this huge boom of resales from people that didn't want to live here anymore because winter is a bear. It's a 6 month season,
Yeah.
and you have to learn to get outside and enjoy it, or you will leave.
Yeah, I know how that goes. I mean, growing up in West Michigan, we got plenty of snow. I mean, I
Hmm.
guess you're originally from, Western New York too, so same deal, just as much snow, all that lake effect. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, so one thing on your broker's website too, you emphasize long-term client relationships, like sort of once you become a client there, you're sort of, almost there forever, like where you're this returning. So what would you say is the most time-consuming parts of maintaining that, high touch client experience as your business grows, and how are you addressing some of the, difficulties with that?
So every year we assess where our business came from, and we usually land between 75 and 80% sphere of influence and past clients. So we're a very heavy sphere of influence firm. There's other firms out there that dump a lot of money into internet leads, and that's how their business model runs. So we do have a very intentional calendar around staying in touch with our past clients, which works really well for seasoned agents that have been in the business for quite a while. So it includes client events. We do the same 3 to 4 client events every year, which is nice that we've kind of gotten it into a system and a routine. Like they expect the events year after year because they know what they are now, and they tease sometimes when they refer us that it's like being invited into a forever club, which is cool. We do apple picking, we do a movie night, we do a baseball game, and then we added 2 years ago a VIP photo event, which is where we rent out like a Christmas tree farm venue, a couple of cows. Very Vermonty. They come get their picture in the Christmas tree farm in October, and then we get there. We like hire a professional photographer to be there. They get time slots, they get their picture taken, and then we send them the image that they can use on their Christmas cards. So it's yeah, it's just like
That's
through doing
great.
that too. I always tell the agents like invite everybody. It's great if only 5 to 10% of people show up because you only have to pay for 5 to 10% of the people that you invited, but they all got the postcard, they all got your, reach out, your text message, and life is busy, so a lot of times people can't show up, and that's it's
Yeah.
actually great because you get to stay in touch and not have to pay for them to come to an event. But we love when
Yeah.
they come because we see them, and there's nothing like that belly to belly relationship and
Yeah,
keeping
that's
that.
awesome. I mean, that's pretty unique too. I like that. I like that a lot because I mean, it's very personal. Which is I guess one of the hardest things, especially in our industry.
Hmm.
When there's so many options to choose from, how do you stand out different? Um, yeah, it
It's a
seems like you
fun way to
guys.
do business. I think the hard part is executing it because real estate agents are so busy. It's
Yeah,
like you have to plan them months in advance. And so that's where our admin staff, myself and another admin, when we handle all of that. So all the realtors have to do is tell us like who they want to invite.
yeah,
And that's how it gets done. You need to add accountability of some kind to your system, whether it's you paying an admin staff or an event coordinator to organize these things for you, because in particular high producing real estate agents, it's just never going to be on the top of their list when they've been in the
yeah,
car doing showings for 12 hours
yep,
to then call the movie theater and book the movie for 2 months out. It just doesn't get done.
yeah, yeah. Um, So let's pivot a little bit because you mentioned rain, um, which I'm very interested in because I help implement AI solutions in a lot of brokerages as well. But you're doing it, right? That it seems like you're sort of teaching it too. I
Yeah.
mean, that it seems like that's sort of the focus with it. Walk us through that, like what that looks like, what you noticed, what advantages you're seeing with AI, how is it helping? I mean, that's kind of an all-encompassing question, but
No,
yeah, I'd like to hear a
it's
little
easy
bit
for
about
me to run on. So RAIN stands for Real Estate's AI Network. It started as we teach a class a day at our brokerage at noon, and I was starting to teach our realtors about AI, and I just got really interested in it. But what I found was it's a pretty hard topic to teach on in a disjointed way. So, like, somebody will show up one week, but then they won't be there the next week. And then someone else will show up and they want me to like go back and review it all. So I started putting it into like an online platform. And then as I got more and more content, and it's one of those communities. It's like a circle community.
it.
There's all kinds of different communities now where you can store content. Like a lot of people know
Yeah,
School because Alex Hermosi had like
yeah,
promotes School. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's one of those communities where it's like you get a subscription, you log in, and then all the content is inside that community, which different people build out different communities. So I started building out one of those as a way for our realtors to be able to go back and just easily access the content in a structured way. Like they want the training on agentic search. Someone searches in ChatGPT, who's the best realtor to help me sell my home in Williston, Vermont. You want to be the name that AI produces and so how do you get ChatGPT to recommend you? That's like an
yeah.
area of study. I'm sure you're familiar. Everybody
Oh
kind of
yeah,
caught on to that in 2025 of like we gotta start paying attention to this. But that training like sits in there so that when one of my realtors who missed my trainings on that asks me a question, I can just say go log in. But then we opened it up where I was like, I don't let other realtors in Vermont into the community because I don't want to train our competition. But outside of Vermont, we just said, if people want access to these trainings, let's just add a little subscription model and they can also get the content. So that's how it started. And yeah, there's like multiple topics in there. We could dig into like what the different topics are. You clearly are
yeah.
aware.
What's would you say is the one that you've gotten in front of, say maybe one of your agents? They're like, oh my God, why haven't I been doing this forever? This is like a game changer for me.
What is the one? Everybody
Yeah, I
always
know,
wants that answer.
I know.
The game changer is a very simple tool. My favorite, like I say, this is my top tool of 2025. It's not a strategy. Like there's like how do you get lead strategies, client
Yeah.
communication strategies, they all. But like there was a tool for me that was a game changer called Whisper Flow. Have you heard of it?
Oh yeah, I use Wisterflow all the
I'm obsessed. And when people are like,
time.
because people say AI and they're talking about chatbots like ChatGPT or
Hmm.
Grok or Claude, and I think they haven't conceptualized that AI is a lot more than chatbots. So this is an AI that is voice to text, just like Siri does, but I call it the Siri that doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Like in 2025, I stopped typing. I don't type anymore because I think real estate professionals are very verbal anyway. We've
Yep.
spent a career of influencing and talking and negotiating, and so like I'm like, I don't have to type anymore. So I just talk to my computer and it writes everything, which is really cool. And I pair that with GPT to clean up like what I said. And it's lethal. I can do
Yep.
so much faster with written than I used to be able
I
to.
like how it tells you your words per minute and like how much faster you are.
Nice. I haven't been watching my stats, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
I feel that's a
it's
game
true.
changer tool.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. I think especially in our world, if you're successful here, clearly there's something about you that your personality or whatever like that allows you to communicate well. And so but when you type versus talk, it comes off differently. um and I think that is absolutely, I mean, that's helped me a ton in my business too.
Mhm.
I'm texting my clients, it's just, yeah, just talk to your computer, it's pretty easy. But I think you're right from the AI perspective as well. The A lot of people just think of like, oh, ChatGPT, Claude, all those, but it's so much more than that. And it's how you
Mhm.
sort of integrate all the tools too.
Yes.
I've realized
Yes.
people just don't know or understand
And
that
that's
there's
why
so
everybody
much more.
wants a one thing. But like I talked about, like Whisper Flow, and I'm like, I'm integrating Whisper Flow with GPT and then taking it over to Gamma. So now, like our team meeting slides, have you used
Yep.
Gamma?
Yeah.
Slide deck
Yep.
generator with
Yep.
AI.
Yep.
For those who don't know, so like now, I'm like looking at my workflows are completely different than they were a year ago. So a team meeting slide deck that used to take me literally hours to put together, I open GPT, I talk to it with Whisper Flow, I ask it to create an outline for my Gamma slide deck, I copy and paste it from GPT into Gamma, and I'm like, and then I edit it a little bit. It takes 20, 30 minutes for something that used to be hours.
Yeah. So there's obviously you use a lot of these tools. You've been teaching a lot of people how to use these tools,
Mm-hmm.
especially focus on these real estate agents. But within your business
Mm-hmm.
overall, like say you could wave a magic wand and instantly
The magic
solve,
wand.
yes, and solve one like big issue. Like what is it that you're trying to solve and focus in on?
Okay, there's two.
Yeah.
So lead generation, we always want to know how can we get leads. And so I've been digging into how do we get leads with AI. And then number two would be client communication. So we've been working on, like, the template library used to always be emails. So we're talking to clients throughout the transaction. And one of the hard things is you meet with them in the beginning if you're lucky for a buyer or seller consult, and not only can you not communicate everything they need to know in that hour you have their attention, but so if you try, you lose them. They don't care at the moment you're meeting with them about home inspection or appraisal. They're just thinking about getting their home on the market and interviewing agents. So they don't hear you. So you have to drop on them the bit of information that they need to know at the exact right time when they're ready to receive the message. But you also need to do it systematically so that you're not forgetting particular people, especially if you're an agent that starts to have multiple deals at a time. You start working 10 deals at a time and you can't remember who you explained appraisal to and who you didn't. And then another issue, like the pain points, is you talk to the husband, but he doesn't share that information with the wife. And so now your clients aren't on the same page. And our job as realtors would be so much easier if client communication, like if you could just take everything in your brain and share it with your clients at the right time. That's like half the job. It's like three-quarters of the job. Home inspection is a big one, like prepping them for what's appropriate to ask for and what's not, how you negotiate home inspection. You can get a credit or you can ask for a repair. What's appropriate to ask for? Adding gutters to the home is an upgrade. That's not a repair. Not all homes have to be to code. It's like this script that I am like, I have explained this 30,000 times, not, and I'm so tired of explaining it that I'm going to do a bad job explaining it to you because I know it. Just trust me. Let's just go with what I say. But you can't do that. So I've started using AI. We've been working on building out like a client communication library with voice memos and videos that we're generating with AI. And so, like any kind of content creation, I love the saying, content used to take a kingdom. I can remember in my early years, like trying to put together like a messaging video with this like whiteboard app where you could like drop in a little stick figure and then like you would type the script in. It took hours and hours and hours to try to create. And now I'm using Notebook LM to create explainer videos for different portions of the project. And sometimes our realtors are pairing that with avatars of themselves. So we're explaining client communication through AI using voice memos and explainer videos and creating out a library of those. And we used to do this with email templates, but I think it's more effective with the videos and the voice memos. And you can
Hmm.
personalize them too. You know, you can have like your avatar say like, "Hey Joe, we know home inspection is 2 days from now. I wanted to give you my tips for how to best successfully navigate home inspection. See you Friday at 5." And it's the same client communication, template you've already built out. You're just changing Joe's name and the time of day for the home inspection. So when he gets the video, it feels incredibly personalized to him.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's one thing I've realized too is like you are the personalization aspect, if you do it right,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it that much more effective. Everyone realizes it's not just some generic template that's being given to me now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all about what you put into it, as long as you're providing the good information and I guess the tools that you're using, that it's recording and knowing and following up the right way. But there's, like you said, there's so many different approaches and tools that we can use and take. In your world, again, communication with the clients, lead gen is always the biggest, one of the
Yeah.
biggest ones. I mean, we all want more leads,
Mhm.
more people to sell. But obviously, with it seems like for you, you've created a big word of mouth, and like that real, good community there. Um, so with that, like, what would you say your process right now of constantly generating, I guess, new leads off that, but also like how are you managing that and maybe implementing some of these tools that you're using too? Like what tool or how would you say that
The
your
nice thing
approach is
is
for that?
like your SOI, it becomes routine and kind of easy. You have to work hard to not let it become routine. They keep feeding you. Once they love you, it's a
Hmm.
pretty easy lift to stay in touch with your SOI and it's fun. Um, so how am I adding AI on top of that is we already have like a really solid base done. It's a calendar every year and we know who does what and it's all figured out. So the AI has been the new stuff, and I think every realtor or brokerage or team needs their like new stuff category.
Hmm.
Or there's always attrition. People are going to die. They're going to move out of state, so your SOI will dwindle. You got to add new people to it.
Hmm.
So yeah, we have been looking at how to use AI to generate leads. If that's something that you think would be useful to delve into.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few different ways. We found, I mean, there's a few that I use for, actually broker lenders,
What do
to
you
do that. But
use?
well, a cold email campaign has actually worked really well. Converts about 2%. I found out. How
Tell
I
me more.
one of
What do you do?
yeah, one of the ways I actually contact with you. So I'm able to pull a lot of leads off
Yeah.
of Apollo, but I can get them. I have a tool to scrub them as well. And then you have to just have the good personalized scripting too. It's just it all depends on the specific broker that I'm working with and what their approach is to. I try and cater it. It typically converts right around 2%, which is awesome.
Yeah, emails are very underused lead source. I'm not using
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because it's tough, right? Cold email is typically not the best way to go, but it's just one that I found decent success with.
Hmm.
Um, but there's others too. But I mean, just like there's public data and that you can pull, and it's just knowing how to scrub it and how to
Hmm.
get know who to contact, when to contact, and nurturing. I found is really important, and AI helps so much, especially with super busy agents or brokers or nurturing your leads the right way. Um, Again, personalized to those leads too. It's because it's like how often do you have the time to go, oh yeah, I remember this one person I mentioned this to that they needed to follow up in a week on, and I don't know. There's so many different. I'm sorry, I'm getting a text right now. They're distracting me.
Always.
Yeah.
So
But
is it
so many different
personalized
ways.
leads? Is that through a CRM or how are you doing it?
It depends, but yes, I would use typically a CRM or whatever CRM that they may any broker already has. I can use an API and I can usually I don't know the way approach I take is I try and utilize whatever tools they might already have, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically providing the advice of okay, this is what we can do, and and then I implement it for them, and then it's like all right, see ya. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it all and if they want it reoccurring, obviously we reoccur, but
And
um,
is it like running text and email and voice campaigns on
yeah,
the CRM
yeah,
that they already have?
yep. And then I also even have a dialer too that I've been. There's one broker that I'm using of dialing their leads for them.
Yeah,
Yeah, which has been a fun one, and just setting appointments. So
that's very
a lot of
cool.
a lot of people didn't realize you could do that now, like or the tech was even there for it, or
I've
even
been
sounded good.
interviewing a company called Speculo AI that's what they do. They'll call through your cold database leads. Like we
Yeah,
have ponds and stuff that came in the last like 2 weeks, or your SOI, you don't want it to touch that. But all the cold stuff have a voice, like an AI voice. They call it Remy. Call. And if they can get the consumer to agree to a live transfer to an agent, that's when you pick
yeah,
up. So
yep,
that's cool.
exactly. Yeah, that's a good one. Or just set an appointment if no one's available,
Love
right
it.
straight into their calendar. So,
Yeah, I struggle to see the difference between AI and automations when it comes to like text message campaigns. Like we run, and I think sometimes people don't know the difference between automations and AI. We run a lot of text message campaigns on our database. So, like the drip campaigns, a lead comes in right away. It says like, "How can we help you? What's the best time to
yep,
talk?"
yep,
And those go on, and there's like triggers. Somebody hasn't been back to the website in 2 weeks, so they get a different text message than somebody. So that's all automations. What are you using? Do you feel like AI versus automations when it comes to text campaigns?
um, so so that's a good one because it's whatever information I have for that specific lead is how we can approach that.
Hmm.
I guess it depends where the lead source is coming from, and the information that we have.
Okay.
So think like, oh, this person gave me their address, so I can immediately compare these three home sales that happen nearby and give
Hmm.
them a number. Uh,
Cool.
Stuff like that. It just it depends. Yeah. That's one of the things I hate in my world in the lending side. It's clients are, what's the rate? I'm like I'm sorry, there's not an exact clear answer. It kind of just depends on a bunch of different factors. But that's similar aspect. Like where that information is coming from, what information I have, and how personalized I can do it. Yes, you set up those automations, um, but if they say that lead source, say it came through your website and you're able to get their home address and you can again do that home value one is a big one. Especially if it's a cold lead, that's one of the best ones. Like, hey, that's the typical approach real estate brokers take is like, let's give you a free home appraisal. You're sort of doing that right up front and be like, hey, you want someone to come out to the home and dive in deeper here with you, or I mean, again, the approach, whatever sales tactic everyone wants to take, but we would try and cater to that based off the information that we have. Um, the cold emails is always a little bit more difficult because it's a bit more limited. So you're typically going off of just like straight automations and nurturing like that.
I'm
Um,
interested in that one. Can you talk more about that one, or no? Like, I'm like, where do you get your lists? Uh, Mostly, like, where do you get your lists, and what are the rules around cold email?
yeah, and that's the other thing too is like there are a lot of regulations there as well. So typically you got to have an opt-in from somewhere, but
Right, the whole darn opt-in.
yeah,
I hate
but
that.
yeah, it makes it. I mean, it makes it a lot more difficult in our world because of that. But again, wherever we're getting our lists from, I like to use, like I said, Apollo is a big one that I like to use. But
I've never
again,
heard of
that's
it.
not
I'm like,
necessarily. Yeah. But there, yeah, I would highly recommend that. But even from there, I still have my own tools that I use to scrub through those leads specifically. So,
Okay.
um, but yeah, let me ask you this. I had one more question here for you. So, what are in your business specifically in the broker side now? What are like the two or three like key metrics that you like to look at to know that you're on track or growing with what you want to, what you're trying to do and for your business? So, is it just closings? Is it your volume? Like how is it, or like are there specific conversion metrics that you're trying to like focus in on, or what do you think is most important?
Very good question. Every year we do look at the end of the year, we put on what we call like a retreat and we gather everybody together and we look at what we did in the last year and set goals for the next year. We look at close, we look at volumes, but that like year to year is a really long time, right? It's like too
Yeah.
far probably. I look at just like the work that's put in. You know, we were just having this conversation in our power up this morning about how it's January and half of our office wants to quit because
Yeah.
we made great money last year, but for the last, 30 days, nothing has happened. And you're looking down the barrel of the shotgun of January, February, maybe March before things really pick up again. And my recommendation to that fear is after doing this for 11 years, I just know that if I am following my time block and my calendar and doing the activities every day, that we're going to be fine. So for you, if that's making 2 hours of phone calls, or if that's making three
Mhm.
posts on social media, or if that's putting out a blog a day, whatever your prospecting activities are, if you have years behind you, you know what cadence works for you and what you need to do, and if you're slacking or if you need to do more. If you don't have years behind you, you play red light, green light, and you track. Does 2 hours of prospecting get me an appointment a day? And if it doesn't, and I feel like I need more, then it's 3 hours of prospecting. So that's really what I like to measure is the day-to-day work put in, and then what the return is from that teaches you if you need to dial it up or not. And a lot of times you need to dial it up.
I love that you bring that up. Like, so I was a director of banking at Rocket Mortgage for quite a few years before where I'm at now, and I like to do that backwards math and tell like my bankers like you have to make this many calls. You pull this many credits, you'll get this many deals.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like that's kind of it. It's like as long as you have that baseline, you're doing the things that you know that lead to that success,
Mm-hmm.
then I mean you will find it. It will happen as long as you do these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of shocking. I think a lot of people just don't, or they try and cheat or cut corners here and there. But I mean, I think that's the secret in any business. It's as long as we do the core things right consistently, you'll find success.
Yeah.
Um, and it seems like that's kind of what you're alluding to.
Yeah, and I feel like I gave an airy fairy answer to that, which I always hate. I like when people have like data. So I'll give a second answer, which is like when we're evaluating like our lead sources working or not, I always look for um, you knew 2% on your emails. I
Hmm.
always want the lead source to be converting at least 5%. And if it's not, then I hope I'm not putting a very big investment into that lead
Yeah,
source. So,
yeah,
and the email, that's totally different. I guess, like, I mean, it depends on your dollar spend too. Like, I would totally
yeah,
run email campaigns for a 2% because there's no personal time put in. I mean, I don't have to be on the phone. So, I don't have to be put out on the phone. 2% conversion's fantastic.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's all about the ROI
Yeah.
when it comes to the business. The one tool that I've been playing with it yet. I haven't implemented it anywhere. No one's wanted to use it yet, but it's a sales call analyzer. It can also
Hmm.
do it in real time. So it's listening to the phone call and can direct the conversation where you want it to go to, convert higher. So it can follow the scripts that you want.
Hmm.
Or you can do post call, be like, and give scoring, and then say over a month, give you like, okay, these people are doing what you want, these people are not doing what you want on these sales calls. That's a fun one that I have because I feel like I mean, when I was a director, I was listening to so many phone calls, just making sure
Yeah.
that my people are doing what they're supposed to be doing or saying what I want them to say.
Oh, that would be
That,
brutal. You get on the
so
treadmill and start walking and listen to 4 hours of phone calls. Like that sounds
yeah,
awful.
yeah, yeah. But
It's hard to stay
that's
tuned in too. That's a
oh
really
yeah,
cool one. I mean, I've never had to
yeah,
listen to people's phone calls, or I never
yeah,
have. I probably should, but I have
yeah,
not had
yeah,
that level of accountability in our firm ever before.
yeah,
But I would love, like, that'd be very cool to have AI do that. What's that called?
yeah.
That tool?
Well, that one was built in-house here. I'm using a third party for that.
Nice.
So he built it, and I've been playing with it, and it's pretty awesome. Like I'll take this phone call, I can put it in the sales call analyzer and tell, yeah, he did this well, he did it, but this
Yeah.
could have been better. Like it's pretty awesome.
That seems like a
Um,
perfect use case for AI because, of course, it can scan the voice recording and find, like, did they
yeah,
ask for us
yeah,
in real estate? It's like location, price, mortgage, agent, appointment. Did they ask for the appointment? Like,
yeah,
yeah, that's a great use case.
yeah,
Very
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So that's just one new one that we've been working on. But again, I haven't found a broker yet that has been wanting to do it yet, or implement it yet, because so most of the brokers I work with are pretty small. They're 5, 10 agents, and so they're
Hmm.
like, I trust my guys, I know my guys, sort of thing. That's
Yeah.
sort of what it's been. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, I get it. But you'd think, I think you started what, Keller Williams is where it
Yeah.
was. Um, like there, it's like I know Keller Williams' model is like very much new agents coming in, teach them, kind of grow within, and then they sort of franchise out. Um, so like I always thought like, oh, that would be like perfect for them. Like that's something that they would probably want to implement. And heck, maybe they are. I know they are at Rocket Mortgage now. Like I bet
Yeah.
now nowadays like these bankers are on the phone and they're not even saying what they want. The computers tell them what to say every time now. So
I feel like that's $1 million idea at least. A million's
yeah,
no longer anything, but
yeah,
somebody could just build out that as
yeah.
a subscription platform, and people you
Yeah,
would get the right customers.
yeah. But so I'll wrap up here. Any other knowledge you'd like to share with any of our viewers here about real estate AI? Any secrets to your success that you would want to put out there?
When it comes to I think sort of what we were talking about earlier in the conversation about mixing and matching tools, that's where you start to get the greatest gains. And you can't do that until you start to learn some of the tools. So, I mean, I keep just pushing everybody get started because I do think that like the kind of scare tactic I use with people is, would you have hired a realtor that doesn't know how to use the internet, or would you hire a realtor that doesn't have a smartphone? No and no. And like this is that next revolution. It's going to become, would you hire a realtor that doesn't have an AI marketing plan? That like people are going to go into listing appointments with an AI marketing plan. We're already incorporating that, and it's going to become, the answer is like, you're going to be laughed at if you don't know how to use AI. And that's not very far away. And so I know it's overwhelming, but a little bit at a time. Try this tool, try that tool. If they're listening to your podcast, then
Yeah,
they're paying attention.
yeah,
So you probably don't
yeah,
need that. But and then figure out how to integrate them. But just a little bit a day. A little bit a day.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you for joining the team playbook here and discussing AI and real estate and all this. I appreciate you joining.
Yeah, thanks, Carl.